You are not as busy as a billionaire, but you can use this trick to be as productive as them. I'm going to show you the 5 for 25 method that was made popular by Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time and a very busy guy. But I did add another element to it that I think really help add clarity when you're struggling to narrow it down to the 5 most important things that you need to be doing. The reason that this is so important is because everybody is busy. We are all doing things. But the problem is that a lot of us are doing things that aren't actually contributing to moving us towards our objectives and our goals in life. Using the 5 for 25 method is one of the best ways that has helped me go from just doing busy work to really making significant moves toward the things that matter in life. So this is the thing. Once you start using this, you're going to see that it's going to save you not just a ton of time, but probably a lot of money too. See, I grew up kind of poor, but I didn't really know it until I hit high school. And then I made 2 friends whose parents were millionaires. And I'll never forget driving my crappy car onto their nice cobblestone driveway for the first time and walking into their massive house. And then the reality just hitting me of like, oh, okay, I'm poor. So over time, my curiosity ended up landing me in conversations with their parents and then with other wealthy people I would meet along the way as well. And what I started to realize is that they weren't just earning and investing money in a different way. There was also a really interesting difference on how they were using their time. I started to see that getting rich and building financial wealth follows a process. And one of the most important parts of that process is prioritization. Because a harsh reality is this: if we do not spend our time as wisely as we spend our money, then society is going to do it for us, and we're going to end up somewhere that we never really wanted to be in the first place. All right, so now I'm going to build a list for the upcoming month, and you can see exactly how I do this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get paper and pen, and you don't want to do this on your iPad or on your phone if you can help it, just because we want to be as focused on this as possible. And, with all the different notifications that can pop up, apps we can just quickly switch to. It's like, oh, I just thought about something with my email, or, you accidentally switch over to social media, whatever the case is. We just want to be as focused on this as we can. So just put your phone out of arm's reach so you don't go for it, and do it the old-fashioned way. All right, so what I did is I wrote down 25 different things that I knew I had to do this month. In reality, it's only like 15 or 16 here, but I was just doing it so I could fit it all on one page. So you get the idea. But really make sure that you get to 25, because even if you choose things that don't align to your top 3 goals right here, that's totally fine. If it's just anything that that needs to be done this month, we want it on here so we can take that into account. Not everything is going to line up to these 3, and we'll walk through that, now. So zooming in here, we're going to, go through my list of 25. And what you can see right here that's really different is this UIS category. And what that stands for is urgent, important, and significant. Now, this is a custom part that I've added to the 25 for 5 process that other people don't usually do. And I just find that it's a really easy way for me to visualize the things that are important and really be able to crack that down to my top 5. So most people are clear on what urgent and important means, but not everybody really gets what significance is. All significance means is that whatever this thing is you're doing is going to have a long-term impact towards your big goals. That's really what that is all about. So we'll go through and I'll kind of show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. All right, so now we're just going to go down the list one by one. We're not trying to sort anything. That's not the point of it right now. We're just assessing each thing on its own. So for the first one, I have 40 new conversations. And when I say conversations, I know it doesn't matter whether that's a conversation I'm having in person or over the phone, I'm sending somebody direct messages or emails, whatever the case is. The point is to start 40 new conversations. And that ties directly into my 4 new design members goal that I have. So this is going to be incredibly significant to that. So this one I am giving a UIS rating, since that is going to directly contribute again to this goal here. All right, so now what I want to do is we're going to come back and, lost that. We're going to go to the next one. Finish the design email sequence. So this is just something I have to do on the back end for my members whenever they're getting onboarded. There's one email that I need to create that I forgot to. Is it urgent? Yes. Anytime I'm adding new members, that is something that they need to get. Is it important? It's not the end of the world if they don't understand this, because I'll walk them through the process when they get into meetings with me anyway. Is it significant? Does it have lasting impact? Not really. It's not huge. So I would say that this is just going to be a U. It's just urgent. It's not super important, but I want to get it done before more people start onboarding this week. Okay, webinar with Morgan. So this is something that is, I'm co-hosting a webinar with somebody on LinkedIn. Excited about it. The data set for it. Everything's pretty much done for it. So this isn't really urgent. It's obviously very important for what I'm doing. And the long term, is it going to be significant? Yeah, it really could. It could open up a lot of new doors. It's opening up a really cool partnership and relationship with this guy that we're working on. So I'm going to call that important and significant, but it's not necessarily urgent because it's a set date. I know when that's happening. Okay. 4 personal training sessions. Okay. Again, like I said, trying to cut weight. Yeah, I believe in coaching. Coaches believe in coaching. So I want the accountability. I want the system. So yes, that is going to be something there. So this is something that is going to be urgent and important. Is it significant? I'm not training for anything huge. I'm just trying to cut off some summer weight that I put on. This isn't like going to have tremendous value in the long term. Me maintaining this will, but just these 4 sessions necessarily aren't going to. So I'm not going to mark it as significant because of those lessons. Okay. So now you kind of get a little bit of an idea when we're walking through these things of what this looked like. Golf lessons, again, it's not urgent. Is it important? Yes, it's something actually I marked as my birthday skill. Won't get into it too much. So this is that, and hopefully we'll have some significant lasting stuff. 1 8-hour block to write. Again, coming up here. So we've got write 3 chapters as another goal. So yes, this is directly aligned with this. Need to get this done. Urgent, important. I'm writing a book. A book is going to have significant lasting value and impact on my business and on my life. So yes, this is definitely getting a UIS rating. And then I want to get to this example. This is a little bit of a curveball here. Scheduling date night. Well, if I come back up here and I'm looking at this, it doesn't really align with any of my goals. So this is not, having date night with my wife is not necessarily something that is, something I'm trying to do here. But guess what? It's the love of my life and, the mother of my children and, one of my best friends that I want to make sure I spend time with. So this is something that even though it doesn't align with my goals, this is a personal thing that aligns with my longevity and all these other goals. So guess what? This one needs to be priority. I need to get this scheduled before other things fill up the calendar. And then all of a sudden we're too busy to make sure we get our date night. We try to do 2, we do 4 date nights a month, but 3 of them right now, just because we have a lot of family stuff going on with some health issues of some family members, some other things, we do 4 date nights a month, but 3 of them are done at home. And then we just order in a nice dinner. Whenever the kids go to bed, it's just us. And then 1 time a month, we make sure to go out on our own. So very important that I get our going out date night scheduled and on the calendar, even though it doesn't necessarily align to this. Okay, so now that I have assigned a UIS value to every single one of these, now we're going to go through this list and we're going to narrow it down to our top 5. So that's what it is. You're listing 25 things you need to do. Now we're going to narrow it down to our top 5 things. And once we do that, once we identify which ones are our top 5, we don't do anything else on that list until we've done those 5. So the most obvious way to find what your top 5 is to find all the UIS ratings. So right here, I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4. So out of these, I have, 4 that I've already done. And a lot of times, like I said, if I do a full list of 25, I might get 7 or 8, something like that. If everything is a UIS, then you really need to evaluate what your priorities actually are, and you need to reassign what, your value system is here. But normally I'll end up with like maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 different UISs. So in this situation, I only have 4. So now what I'm going to do to find that 5th one is now I'm really focused on the urgent important. So if I come down here, okay, I've got the personal fitness training sessions. That's one potential. Down here, launch my design mastermind event page, need to do that. And then here, schedule weekly live stream. So one of these three is going to end up being the fifth one. And again, by figuring that out, I'm just going to look at this and say, okay, yeah, this one, aligns to that. This aligns to that, yada, yada. But you know what? This one is really the one that aligns the most to these goals, even though I need to do, all the others. So because that one is the most directly correlated, we're going to make this one number 5 that we're going to end up doing. So now I have my list. I need the 40 new conversations. I got to get started. Personal training sessions. Need to make sure I block off 1 hour to write, schedule date night, and then take Drake to Mealy Pops because that is a promise that I made to my son for him going back to school. So it's very important to me again, even though I do not have it aligned with any of these goals. It's aligned to my why statement. My why statement is to glorify God, cherish my family, serve others, and have fun while doing it. Well, this is having fun while doing it and cherishing my family. So that's why it gets the UIS rating. It's aligned with my why. So all of these things, whenever we're doing lifestyle design and we're doing prioritization, this is how they all line up. And this is one of the easiest ways that we can do it. And the great thing is I've got 5 things here. 40 new conversations is going to take a while for me to get to, right? But I need to block off 1 hour to write. That'll take me a couple seconds to make sure I block that and make sure that it gets done. So that won't take long. Scheduling date night. Figuring out where we're going, putting it on the calendar, working out the details. I can have that done in a couple minutes. Getting 4 personal training sessions done. That's 4 hours total. Even if I don't get it done, as long as I have them scheduled, can cross that off, move to the next one. And then taking my son there, that'll take, 2 hours and it'll be a good time. So it just gives you an idea of once you have your priorities set, you have clear marching orders on what to do, you can go execute your plan, you start crossing these things off, and as you cross them off, then you go, okay, now we move on to the next. Now I've knocked off some stuff. Now all of a sudden, these urgent importance. This becomes my next number 2, my next number 3, my next number 4, and then you just work your way down the line. And as the month comes along, you're going to find that new things will pop up. And then you may have to come back to this list and you may have to erase some things that you've already done and you may have to assign some new values. It's totally fine. The point is that you have a go-to list every single month that you're working on and it helps you rank the things that are important. Because when new things do happen, when new things do pop up, because they're going to, then you are able to really decide whether or not it's the most important priority there is. Because this is the funny thing about priorities. There are no priorities. The word priorities actually didn't exist in the English language till a couple years ago when they stuck it in the dictionary. But by definition, the word priority means that there can only be one. So whatever the priority is what is getting done, not what we say it is. The 25 for 5 method has had a massive impact on my life, and I know it can do the same for you. So use it at least once a month. Sometimes it works really well if you want to do it on a weekly basis too. But use it at least once a month to really help you set your priorities and make sure that you are working down the most direct path to hitting the goals that are important to you to ultimately live the life that you want to live.